you came upon some things that you weren't sure who you want to share them with. Well, one of the really cool things, you don't have to share this with anybody. The work that you do and the decisions that you make and the choices that you come to, this is for you. But what happens is this outgrowth of confidence and self-awareness that allows you to connect with who you are so that the people around you can respond to you at the best way they can possibly. And so that's all part of this thing. And so we always start right there with self-discovery, and we know that it's a difficult challenge, but it's just so valuable and so important.
Pete, is this something you ask people who work for you, even players, to do?
Yeah, we do a whole process. We're working through constantly. We never stop trying to stay ongoing to it, figuring out who you are, what's the best version of yourself, how can you bring that to light, how can you be a great teammate by being truly you, and supporting those around you and all. All of that is so important, and coaches for sure. Yeah, we all go through it, and we're a relationship-based organization, really, Mike would tell you, and that's something that we've realized. That's all based on, you have to get to know the people around you, you have to work with the people, and you have to communicate well so that we can serve them and be the best supporter for them. And so all of that comes out of this process, and there's really nobody in the organization that we're not trying to help in that regard.
This is sort of step one in the process. It's at the beginning of the audiobook, and then you go through these steps of outlining your vision, and you guys describe a lot of the mental qualities you find in high performers that it would never occur to me are qualities you can actually train, one of which is optimism, right? And it makes a ton of sense. Mike, you point out all these high performers they tend to be optimistic people. Now, I think to someone like me, it just seems like you're born with optimism or you aren't, and some people are just miserable and some people are sunshine, but you're saying that's not the case.
Yeah, there might be some predisposition from a genetic standpoint of people that bend towards optimism or pessimism, and pessimism is really about protection. However, it is something that we can fundamentally make a decision to live our life according to. So optimism and pessimism are the lenses that we see the future through. And so, Coach and we'd be hard-pressed to find anybody on the world stage that doesn't fundamentally believe that it's going to work out. And it doesn't mean that, it's just because they say so. It's like what we're talking about is when you drill down to it and somebody is in a difficult experience, in that moment, do they fundamentally believe if they can just ride with it, stay in it, stick with it, pivot, navigate, adjust to the difficult unfolding experience, that they'll be able to do it in a way because the future is bright, that there's something there that's, as Coach likes to say, there's something good right around the corner. And so the optimism is a trainable skill. And so we want to double down, triple down on it.
Pete, in the audiobook, you use Russell Wilson as an example of a very optimistic person. I don't think anyone who's heard Russell Wilson mic'd up would doubt that based on what they hear from him. But how does that manifest itself on the field, and in what ways does that translate, or has that translated to success in key moments?
Yeah, Russell Wilson he's a world-class optimist. He's on it, has always been that way. He predisposed, maybe, as Mike would say, although I think he learned a lot from his father, who taught him a lot, and his mother. They brought him through the lessons. But Russell has had the series of experiences that allow a person to find reason that it's okay to be optimistic. It's okay to be positive. It's okay to have the confidence, because he's been able to create and recreate positive outcomes. He has always affected what we're doing. He has always affected the players that he plays with, the coaches that work with him. He's affected the outcomes of games just because of his positive and optimistic nature. And his belief in himself is so deep that he's, like I said, he's world class. And there is no time when, I'm talking about through all of the years, we've been together like 8 or 9 years, whatever the heck it is now. There's never been a time when he hasn't been optimistic. There's never been a time when he's not believing that he can get the job done if there's seconds left on the board. And he's proven it. He's taken people with him throughout the process. He hasn't done it by himself, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But that guidance and that voice and that constant, we've come to believe in. We've got stats and numbers and all kinds of things that back up legitimately that we have been highly successful in difficult situations. And he's been right in the middle of all of that, affected a lot of people positively.
I imagine you've had a lot of players walk through your doors at the college and professional levels who don't inherently have that quality when they come in. And certainly have players coming from, adverse situations who maybe didn't have, we taught them that level of optimism. How do you, a coach optimism?
Well, there's a lot of ways. One of the most important things, I have to model it. I think I have to be the model of what we're talking about. And so no matter what situation or what I see, I pretty much are going to come back to, like Mike said, something good just is about to happen, and with that general thought, that kind of keeps me in a vein where I can always be a good illustration for them, I hope. And I have to constantly work at that because I want to be really good at it, and I want to make sure that they don't see me in any other way, and I'm uncommonly consistent in that regard. But there's so many tools, just language alone. We talk about self-talk and how crucial it is to have positive self-talk and a conversation that is supportive of the actions that you desire. That's part of it. It's always working to relate to the people around you in a way where you're supportive to them, where we have a conscience that we are going to always work to support. We're going to get away from the language that's going to take us or detract us from thinking that everything is possible for us to do. It's building up that reason to believe, and that knowing that we're really going to be good if we just keep doing what we do and just believing in it. You start to develop, even in somebody who may not be predisposed to be an optimistic person, they can't help but go along with it. Everybody wants to do well and win and all, and so the more we can influence in that direction, and it's the environment, it's the culture, it's the mentality, it's everything that we do to try and create that kind of a setting where people are going to find their way to knowing that, hey, something good's going to happen here. And so that's kind of how it works.
Mina, this is a really important point, is because what he's talking about is an ecosystem. It's not like a word on the wall, right? Like these are the words that matter to us, but they're just words on walls. It's the water that coaches created for the organization to swim in. And so he's got to model it, he's got to be about it, and it really comes from a high awareness. You can train awareness from mindfulness, and it's an awareness of your inner dialogue. Like, how are you framing this moment relative to what could be coming down the pipe? And each moment, this is the uniqueness of it, each moment is unfolding, unpredictable, and unknown. And if we leave our brain unchecked, our brain is just simply trying to survive. That's what it's about. But if we leave that dictum of the brain unchecked, we miss another part of the brain that is alive for us, which is the excitement of the unknown. And so with just a little bit of a fine tuning, we get to, like what Peter's describing, is he gets to lean into the moment, like, oh, what's about to happen? Oh, it's almost, is this the play it's going to break? Oh, it's almost right there. And that isn't what the value of an optimistic framework is it keeps you in the moment so that you get the excitement and the buzz of being part of the on-time unfolding present moment. And that is where high performance is expressed. It's where wisdom is revealed. And the present moment is also where all things that are true, beautiful, and good are experienced. So our work collectively is to help people live in the present moment more often. That requires discovery and some mental skills for sure.
You guys talk a lot in the audiobook about how difficult it is, especially today, to live in the present moment. In fact, how most people really aren't focusing on the thing at hand. And something that spoke to me, or I guess was something I'd like to get a lot better at, is what you describe as the signal to noise ratio, how high performers are basically able to block out noise and fear of judgment. And we all struggle with that on a certain level, right? Everybody's on social media. Someone like me, I think I maybe struggle with it more than other people because of the nature of my job. But you, once again, say and explain that it's something that can be trained. Mike, can you explain how? Because it's so easy to, yeah, of course, I'd like to block out the haters. We all say that. We all say I only want to take criticism from people I take advice from. But it's easier said than done.
Okay, this is, I think, one of the great constrictors of human potential. And what I mean by that is that the fear of other people's opinions is something that is so terrifying, and it lights up the same part of the brain as a tiger in the bush. And it is so terrifying for people that it's much safer to play it small, to play it safe, if you will. And so the fear of other people's opinions is really the signal to noise ratio. Now you can do the concrete example, which is the noise of the crowd. right? The noise of somebody talking smack to you, like that type of thing. But really, the signal to noise ratio is your ability to gate out the internal noise and the external noise. The internal noise is more about the fear of it not working out and the fear of other people's approval, to get to the present moment, which is the signal.